Hello, I'm Charles, and today I'm going to be drilling into my engine. Okay, so last weekend, to save money as you do, I replaced my own catalytic converter in my 2006 Subaru Outback. But you can see it didn't seal as well as it should. I noticed when I first tightened it up, it had like a little squeak of an air leak. And I went through with a torque wrench and tried to torque the exhaust bolts, or I guess the exhaust manifold bolts, instead of getting new ones. And this one right here, when I tightened it up, was definitely, it would just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So the threads, I was hoping maybe a new one would have enough good threads to catch in, but the aluminum thread, or the aluminum block, is just stripped out. So I've got a HeliCoil kit, and the first thing you got to do is drill it out 30 seconds. So I'm going to be doing that, probably not on camera, because I want to hold it steady. Alright, we've got the one hole drilled out to the same depth as it was before, 13/32. And now we're going to use the special HeliCoil tap to tap up in there nice and slow. And we'll be going forward and backwards, trying to keep it from getting jammed up. And I'm going to be using some Cool Cut as well, too, a lubricant. It's actually going pretty easy since it's aluminum, but I'm going to concentrate on this instead of filming. I'm using a special tool, which is basically a bolt with that little lip on the top. And what happens is that engages that part of the HeliCoil. And so as you're turning it clockwise, it actually makes the HeliCoil a little bit smaller so you get it in the hole. And then once we get it deep enough in the hole, it should be past this, you break off that little part right there. You can actually see a little, if you can see that, you can see a little score mark right there. So when you stick a tool up in there, I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver and pop that off, it'll come back down through the hole. So, and some people say use Loctite, but I've always heard do not use Loctite on these, because if anything goes wrong and you have to pull this out, Loctite will make it harder to pull the pieces out. Oh, that was perfect. It actually was really easy to turn until it got all the way in there. And now we'll back the tool out. And just double check that we got it past that. And yes, we do. And you can still see the pieces up in there. So I'm going to grab a screwdriver now, and we should be able to oh, I can't see it up in there. There it is. It came popping out somewhere behind all the shavings and everything. Now, that hole should be ready. Let's not put an old stud in there. Now that's perfect. Oh yeah, the other one, there's no way I could get that much torque on it. It was just stripping out the aluminum pieces. All right, and there we got it. A thread zert or HeliCoil. There's different brands, but HeliCoil is the one I use to put in there. And now I'll be able to put my exhaust back together, and it should be good to go. And all I needed was, as my grandfather would call it, a drill bit and drill driver, but 13/32 bit, some cool cut, and a tap holder and the tool that came with it, and the special tap that came with it, and of course the inserts, and I think they end up being like $4 a piece, but at least it'll work now. All right, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to use a HeliCoil kit. The metric 10 by 1.25, and it comes with its own tap that matches the HeliCoils themselves. What that does is it puts I think these are stainless steel. It makes a new stainless steel part that threads into the new bolt. So instead of the bolt being up against aluminum threads, this is going to be in the aluminum threads that we make with the new thread tap, and then this is going to be on the actual head bolt. So that should be able to hold the torque of the exhaust.